Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Annalisa and this is going to be a review of May a Divine Awaken by Michael Tinsley. Before I get started, I want to show you a few things that I have recently bought because I found a creator who does leftist Star Trek fan art on Blue Sky. So first we have a Friend of Garrick sticker, which I'm pretty sure is a reference to Friend of Dorothy, which was a thing that gay people called themselves a while back in reference to Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. Then we have my favorite Star Trek character ever, Major Kira, holding up a, I believe, Bajoran phaser, and the text reads, "This machine kills fascists," probably in reference to the fact that she was a resistance fighter for Bajor fighting the Cardassian occupation. And then we have Autistic Baddie, and this is 7 of 9, is heavily autistic coded. There's usually at least one autistic coded person per Star Trek show. Sometimes it's a Vulcan, sometimes it's an android, sometimes it's a shapeshifter. In this case, it was a Borg. She's also technically human. She's the only one of them who's also human. And while I do believe that aliens and androids should not be our only representation, I don't think there's anything wrong with there being a person who happens to be alien, but is also clearly autistic. The last thing I got was this pin, which I'll try to insert a close-up photo of it, but it is the Bajoran flag and the Palestinian flag together. And I will link below the website where I bought all of those things. May a Divine Awaken. I heard of this and from Michael LeBourne, who promotes Black and Brown indie authors, and I actually got this along with a book box that Michael LeBourne was doing for a while, and this is actually the old cover. This book now has a new cover, which I'll show you. This one looks more epic and warlike, which is a good indicator of the story, but the other one looks a lot more like the actual description of the main character, so there are pluses and minuses to both covers. This main character has vitiligo, which the author also has, which is a condition in which the melanin of the skin slowly goes away in patches. I believe it's a autoimmune thing where your immune system is actually attacking the melanin. It's a condition that still has a fair amount of stigma today, and there is stigma about that in this book. This is a fantasy book, and I have complicated feelings on it because I liked some things really a lot, and I really felt very meh about some things. Those things being more the way it was written than what was written. What I mean by that is that the elements and the action and the overall story arc I really liked and thought was well done, but overall I would say it was too rushed. There were a lot of really emotional and physical bad things happening to our main character, and they are rushed past with maybe a sentence each about how the character feels about them or what effect it has on him, and then we're on to the next action thing happening. However, I would describe this book as having good bones. For one thing, I hardly ever read books by cishet men, which I'm pretty sure describes this author. This book did not have any of the red flags or negative experiences that I associate with reading books by cishet men. There were lots and lots of women characters. I would say they actually outnumbered the male characters 2 to 1. I found them all to be different from each other, although a lot of them have things in common because they are all what are called divines, which means they basically have superpowers of various kinds. And because of these superpowers, all the divines are basically heavily militarized and are forced to fight for their various factions and be very brutal about it. So a lot of the women have that in common, but other than that, I find them to be different, and for them definitely not to be cardboard cutouts that could be replaced with a sexy lamp. A lot of them are very strong, but they also have tenderness. And so I really appreciated how the women characters were written. That being said, I don't feel like anyone in the book was characterized as much as I would like, especially the main character. Though we spent more time with him probably than any other individual, there were a lot of scenes that didn't involve him, that mostly involved the bad guys scheming, and I really didn't care about that. Like, I can see how it'd be helpful to kind of set up the overall story, but I don't think it was necessarily or nearly as much as it was done. I would have valued more of that page time being spent getting to know the main character and like processing all the horrible things that are happening to him. What characterization there was, though, I did like. I found that from what I knew about the main character and the characters who were on his side, I really liked them quite a bit. And I found that the book improved as it went on. So I really wasn't enjoying my first 100 pages. The next 100 pages was better, and the last 100 pages was the most entertaining, and I felt like I knew the most about the characters during that time. There was also a little bit more time spent addressing how everything that's happening is affecting the main character and his own personal thoughts on things. If you like action-packed, this is very action-packed, as long as you don't mind gore. There's quite a lot of gore as well. I enjoyed the superpowers, but they also were not explained well enough for me to be able to figure out like what the limits are, and for me to be able to like understand what was going to happen with the superpowers as things went on. As I said, I did really enjoy the plot overall. I think it was adequately convoluted without being confusing. Overall, I think this author has a lot of potential, and I would definitely read more from this author. If you are someone who prefers action over introspection, I think you would really enjoy this one. There will be content warnings at the bottom of the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to know if you have heard of this author, if you have read this book, or if you would like to, or what you're currently reading. If you'd like to leave an emoji, how about the magical little sparks that people sometimes use now to denote AI, because we will not let them take that emoji from us. It's a good little sparkle emoji. See you in the next video. Bye!